No matter how convincing they might sound, do not evaluate everyone's advice to be the same. The concept of one vote per person is true for things like politics, but it is not true for things like life advice. Do not value a blue pillar's advice as the same as a red pillar's, or, a high value man, for instance. A lot of the times on the self-improvement journey and the red pill journey, if you're on that, you'll encounter a lot of blue pillars trying to, these little commentary channels or these people on Reddit or whatever that try to make it sound like the red pill is weird, and it's like you're being, abnormal. Like, what are you talking about? This is delusional. This is the way to do it. It is delusional in the sense that these days this is unconventional advice, but it's not like it doesn't get results. Like, this advice does work. The only reason it's unconventional is because of, the Matrix and all that, that's stuff like that. But basically, that's just a code name for just, like, the way the media has, like, kind of brainwashed us, sort of sense. Like, we've all been programmed since a very young age. Even if you don't realize it, that's just a fact at this point. Like, for instance, one of the main things that really set me back so long on my journey of, like, becoming blue pill to red pill is getting girls. Obviously, like, the blue pill, everyone is born blue pilled by default. Like, it's kind of, well, some people are smart enough to, like, not realize that stuff, and some people do. I guess the people who weren't allowed to watch TV when they're young and stuff like that, I guess they can escape it. But a lot of us, are born blue-pilled, and that's the point. That's why it's the blue-pilled. So, a lot of us, we were brought up believing that advice of, like, oh, just be a nice guy, don't don't be a dick or whatever, a douchebag, whatever you want to call it. And then, the red pill will say, like, actually, girls like this and they like that. Usually, in the red pill, it's not necessarily that you need to be, a horrible person to girls, but there's nuance to it. I'm not gonna go into, like, game and all that stuff, but one of the things that set me back so much was for instance, cold approaching. In Reddit, or in the red pill, a lot of the time the people will talk about how one of the best ways to get girls is via cold approach and not using Tinder or, whatever the blue pillars say. And then there will literally be blue pillars, these weird motherfuckers on Reddit or on TikTok or whatever that, like, say, like, oh, what the hell, this is so weird, this is, this is terrifying, what are you talking about? And then it's like, anyone who's ever done it, myself included, or even just looking at videos of people who do it, usually the girl is, like, very receptive. Like, they usually are, like, being complimented. They're not, like, creeped out, I don't know. Maybe it's, like, if you're unattractive, maybe they would be. I don't know. I'm a pretty decent looking guy. I'd say, like, you wouldn't know because I'm wearing a towel, but, I'm a pretty, like, I think I'm a pretty good looking guy, decently. So I wouldn't know. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe the girls are, like, more receptive to it. You still will get rejected a lot. But you also will get rejected so much more on Tinder. It's not even a comparison. They've done so many experiments on it. Tinder is not the move, bro. But yeah, it's stuff like that, and it's just look at the people who actually get the girls. Okay, why don't we do that? Why? I promise you, any time, I promise you, dollars to donuts, every single time a red pill, influencer will talk about how to get girls, like, I don't know, Austin Dunham or Hamza or the CEO of Testosterone or Andrew Tate or whatever, I promise you, whenever they talk about how to get girls and then there's someone in the comments or on Reddit or on TikTok saying, what the fuck, this is bad advice, oh, yeah, the women, oh, they're like the nice guy and all that, like, I promise you that guy does not get girls. I promise you, if we could actually look into his, like, actual profile. And a lot of times we can look at their profile, and they're usually weird, like, little spurgs that don't get girls. So I don't know why we're taking their advice. But the thing is, online, these spurgs thrive, man. These spurgs will make their points sound so convincing. And if you're not careful, you will literally be set back so much on this whole journey because you'll just be listening to these weird spurgs and they'll sound so convincing. Online is their bread and butter, man. They can talk circles around you online, man. They're actually, their charisma, inner charisma in the way they speak comes out online on the comments, and it just sounds convincing. But I promise you, in real life, bro, these guys aren't doing anything. They're not getting the girls in real life, bro. I promise you. One time, like, a dude literally even admitted in the comment, like, oh, I'm an introvert. So it's like, why are you taking his advice, bro? Take the advice of the people who have the results you want. Do not buy into the blue pill, like, lies, you know. Another thing is, like, oh, muscle doesn't get girls, you know, stuff like that. Okay, look at everyone online who is really good with women, like, really good. Usually, they're gonna either be muscular or they're gonna be rich. Okay, I promise you, they're always gonna be muscular, rich, something like that. You know, they've done experiments on it, like, you can look at, like, the Wheat Waffles, like, Tinder experiment where he did the average dude versus the Chad dude. The Chad dude and the average dude both had pretty good faces, honestly. If I'm being honest, they both had decent faces. But the Chad dude had more, you know, muscles, and he was richer, which are two things the blue pill says, oh, that doesn't actually work with girls. Oh, what are you talking about? But he got 50 times the results with just those two things alone. I don't think his face, honestly, personally, I don't think his face was that much more attractive than the average guy's. So we can't just say, oh, it was his face or whatever, you know? Another thing that the blue pillars will say is that, you know, game, you know, that whole stuff about the red pill, like the mystery behind it, and, like, you know, kind of, you know, that kind of game, they say, you know, obviously the blue pillars, they see it as, like, disrespecting women or whatever, so they did talk down on it, and they make it as if it's, it doesn't work. But again, like, if we actually look at the people, like, dude, the people who say these things are literally posting on Reddit, bro. I promise you 90% of people on Reddit don't get girls, bro. I promise you. I promise you dollars to donuts. The people on Reddit are not getting girls. Like, Reddit is, like, 90% like porn, you know? Like, the people on Reddit who are just watching porn every single day are not getting girls, bro. I promise you. So, why are you listening to advice and, you know, the opinions of people who are posting on Reddit, who are posting on TikTok, these, like, weird-ass platforms? Bro, Reddit is, like, one of the most biased places of all time, and I promise you it has, like, the biggest concentration of, like, incels. Like, it's a meme, honestly. Even on Reddit, it's, like, a meme that these people are incels, but you still buy into their weird advice, you know, other stuff, and that's why you still find them qualified when it comes to stuff like this. But, you know, you need to get that out of your head, you know, because, I promise you, you know, they're not, and then, yeah, just with anything in life, like, do not take the black pillar's advice, don't take the blue pillar's advice, don't take the red pillar's advice, take the advice of the people who have the stuff you want. Don't take money advice and, like, you know, getting rich advice from these weird, like, socialist motherfuckers online, you know? Get it from the actual dude who has money. Like, why, you know, don't look at the actual qualifications of the dude you're listening to and then follow what he did. It's not that hard, bro. One vote per person is not the same when it comes to advice. Please don't take everyone's, it's nice, we don't want to say, hey, book, don't judge a book by its cover, right? So we try to take everyone's advice and we try to figure out the best solution, but the truth is, guys, like, you look at the results first and then you follow that advice. Another common thing that blue pillars will say is that, like, oh, you know, what is this? This is abnormal. You know, that's their common argument. They don't even, like, bring up data or anything like that, because obviously, like, their data would prove them wrong. Like, so they what they'll usually say, like, their usual argument from what I've seen is just like, oh, you're being weird. You know, this weird, like, you know, Johnny Bravo looking alpha male. Like, they always just, like, make, it's always like, it goes back to a comedy aspect of just like, oh, look at these guys, am I right? It's never usually, like, an actual, like, point or, like, an actual argument from what I've seen. It's usually just like, oh, haha, you know, like, that's why usually, like, these people The people who try to debunk the red pill and all that are usually like these commentary YouTubers, you know, stuff like that. But guys, the truth is, like, we're not trying to be normal here. That is true. Like, we're not trying to be normal, but we shouldn't want to be normal. I think I'm gonna make a video about this in the future, but guys, the truth is, yeah, it is abnormal, but normalcy is fucking like, you need to understand this concept of the shrinking middle class. These days, more than ever, and it's only increasing, you either have a good life or you have a bad life. The majority of people, means the average person, means the normal person, has a bad life these days. Okay, the divorce rates are like, what, over 50%. All right, the average person makes like no money. There's even the average person these days is like becoming that it's an incel is the average person. Look at the statistics, bro. It's like, what, like 40%, something like that? Well, I think the last statistic was like 30% of men these days are incels, but it's like, that's only increasing, and at the rate it was increasing, I think like by now would be like 40%. I remember Gerbert Johnson made a video about it. I'm just gonna trust him. So almost like the average person these days is literally an incel, bro. We don't want to be normal here, guys. The average person has gyno these days. The average person is an incel. The average person has no friends these days and like no money. Like the shrinking middle class is the concept here. You know, you're either in the top, you know, X% of men, or you're just, you know, a loser. We don't want to be normal here, guys. Like, sure, maybe cold approaching is abnormal, but that doesn't mean it's bad. You know, it's just that most people won't do it because they buy into the programming or whatever. You know, they'll say, oh, it's weird, it's bad, but then it's like you actually do it, and you realize, oh shoot, like the girls actually like this. Like, they, even if they reject you, like they were still liked. It was still a pleasant interaction. You know, they liked being complimented. You know. But yeah, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, like, don't doubt these things until you try them. You know, like, at the end of the day, the blue pillars will have like the weirdest arguments of all time, like, oh, you know, they're just doing this because they want to sell you something. It's like, most of the things on this like self-improvement red pill journey don't really even like benefit the YouTube, like things like NoFap, for instance. Like, the blue pillars will try to make it seem like the red pillars are like scamming you guys by saying, you know, to do NoFap. It's like, what do they, I don't, like, it doesn't give them any profits for you to just not touch your penis, you know, not touch your you know, your chicken or whatever you want to call it. Like, it doesn't, it, even in like the NoFap community, they say like to get the full results, you only need like 3 months. So I don't, like, even if you really are like a blue pilled and you're like, this won't work, why not just try it? It's 3 months of your life. Like, that's nothing. Like, you've already lived like 18 years of your life, you know, doing the other thing. Why don't you just go and try 3 months of your life, you know, not doing it, and then see. You know, it's stuff like that. It's like when you start to pick apart like these arguments and stuff, you start to realize how little value the blue pill actually holds. It's really the red pill and the black pill in the races these days. And, you know, these days, I mean, more and more men are realizing that, which is nice. But I don't know. It's still like I'm just trying to help people out who have yet to convert these days. Because, like, bro, if you're not converting these days, like, we know what's coming for you. Because we know what the average person's life is. It's pretty bad, bro. Like, you don't want it. Another thing I'll say is that a good practical step for all this is to start hanging out with high-value people. Start hanging out with the athletic kids. This can happen once you start going to the gym, because usually the gym people are very friendly, and they like helping out the new people. So what I would recommend is start hanging out with them. You're gonna run into those fratty, like, you know, douchey, like red pill kind of guys, and you need some of that to rub off on you if you're still blue pilled. So what I would do is I would hang out with those red pill guys, and this is what I did when I was, you know, converting or whatever. I would hang out with these guys and see, and then, you know, I'd pick up on like how cool they were and how they were good with women, and like, you know, how they just, you know, they were on top, like they had everything and they were just having fun, you know. And I, you know, start to become more like them, which is good. You know, I wanted to become more like them at the time. You know, maybe you want to balance it out eventually, but, you know, for right now, you need to decode, you need to deprogram. So hang around those like guys, those like fratty, like douchey athletic guys that actually get the results you want, I promise you, the blue pillar is like ideal male. Like you can look around your school and you can see the people who would fall into that category, right? It's like, oh, it's just a nice guy. Doesn't matter anything else about him. Go look at him and then go look at the athletic, muscular, like, frat dude at your school. And then please tell me who gets more of the results you want, the girls that you want, bro. I promise you, like, and then even if you don't want, like, to get a lot of girls, it still helps to have that stuff so you can, you have a bigger net to cast when you do want to get your long-term partner. Like, wouldn't you rather have a wider option, of them? So yeah, and then also I need to make a video about why you should want to get a lot of girls just for a little bit. It is important for a man's development. Derek, there's a sick transition, but Derek from More Plates, More Dates already made a video about why getting tons of girls and like being a pickup artist for a little bit is important for a man's development, so I won't go too far into it, but you should watch that. It's a fantastic video. Possibly one of his best he ever made, honestly. Just on the life advice aspect alone, it really opened my eyes to the fact that, like, whoa, like, see, little by little, the little blue pill lies, like, get peeled back, and you realize, like, how silly it is, and that was, like, also one of those moments where I was like, holy fuck, like, the way I thought about things for so long is, like, untrue. You do want to actually be, like, a douche, quote-unquote, and just be, like, an asshole, because, like, those guys get the results, bro. So it's like, okay, we can say, oh, they're douches and whatever, but that's all we can say. That's all the blue pillars can say is, oh, you're weird. That's it. The black pillars have the data, the red pillars have the experience, the blue pillars have nothing. Why? But the only reason they've what's it called? Herd behavior. The only reason they have followers and stuff, and that it's the dominant pill to take. All the stuff is so autistic, but you know what I mean. It is important for your life advice. It's just a weird, like, autistic way to break down, like, life advice, The reason it's the most prevalent is because, like, the Matrix and all that, and then that's autistic as well, but, it's a very complicated, like, concept, so that it's a good way to break it down. But yeah, no, I mean, really, like, there really isn't any reason you should be taking the blue pill. Like, honestly, take the black pill even, like, at least it has data to back it up. The red pill, has the wisdom. The blue pill just is, a way to keep people down. Like, it's so clearly just like a little ploy the establishment, the big rich people use to just keep people down. It's like not even funny. Like, if you actually do believe it, you just spend too much time on the internet. You don't go outside enough and you don't like observe things. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that. Or you've just been so fucked up mentally by the blue pill that now you're like a male feminist, and you've been like castrated, which I don't even know. Like, the remedy to that is I don't even know, because I was never like that. I was never castrated. I was never to the point where I was like, oh, these like male feminist motherfuckers, like even looking at a woman is like rude. You shouldn't even, like, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. So I really don't know. I have friends that are like that. So, but I don't really know how to help them, because you can only lead a horse to water. You can't like make it drink. So if you were like that, the remedy is just like, I don't know, have more respect for yourself, I guess. Like, don't stop. I don't even know, because it's like these kind of guys are so fucked up. Like, they literally don't even have desires like that men should have. So I don't even know. Maybe I really don't know, man. I mean, if you're content to be in the bottom 90%, then I guess be content. That's less competition for guys like me and, the red pillars. So, I don't know, more power to you, I guess. But, I don't know. Hopefully you try to make something of your life and do something that worthwhile and that will give you respect from other men. That's the end goal, honestly, is just respect from other men. Like, it's not even so much like getting a lot of girls, getting a lot of money and all that. That stuff is fun, but it's all of that is just for respect at the end of the day. And if you don't even want that, then I don't even know what to tell you. Like, you just live your subpar life, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, that's gonna wrap it up. That was kind of like a mini, like, don't take the blue pill. And then I'll make like another video, like, that goes in depth about why you shouldn't take the blue pill. I'll look up some statistics and stuff. It shouldn't be that hard, honestly. Like, the blue pill is
so flimsy and so, like, there's nothing backing it, like, except for just, you know, these weird commentary YouTubers online saying, you're weird. And that's really it. So it shouldn't be really hard to debunk that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just try the advice. Like, don't weigh everyone's advice as the same, bro. You know, certain people have more of a say than other people. You know, certain people have more power in their votes than other people when it comes to giving advice, when it comes to the way they look at the world and stuff like that. You should really take someone like, you know, Jack Hopkins' advice over, you know, like, Noah Samson. You know what I mean? Comparing, like, who gets more girls and stuff and who's, like, living a better, like, more successful. Even if you don't want to live that, like, hedonistic lifestyle, you still objectively have a better life because you can say you could if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like the difference between being peaceful and being a coward. Like, you know, it's the difference between having the ability to be aggressive and do, you know, and be that full-on douchebag if you want to, and then choosing not to, which is so powerful. Like, if you can't even do that, then you're just nothing. You're just the average guy. Like, that just makes you, if you aren't even capable of aggression, you're a coward. You're not peaceful. You know what I mean? So, oh, that's the end of the video, guys. Strive for greatness. Don't try to be average. The average person's life is literally just the bad, sub-average, subpar life these days, because the middle class is being destroyed. So, you know, do your thing. Yeah, I'll go probably more in depth in another video. But yeah, don't get brainwashed by these random ass people. Like, the thing is, it's easy to get brainwashed because it's a numbers thing, right? There's more people, especially on the internet, where you're hearing about this advice, that they're on the blue pill than the red pill and the black pill. But again, like, if we actually look at the individuals around them, like, we see that they're like weird, and and I don't know, they don't leave their house. Like, they're probably on YouTube and Reddit 24/7. So I don't know. Don't take their advice, guys. You might get pressured into it because of the numbers, and you think, oh, it must be true because so many people are saying it. But it's like, again, it's more about the quality of the person versus just like one vote per person. You know what I mean? It's more like, even if there's 100 votes from the blue pillars, but none of them are getting girls, then that one vote from the red pillar who actually like gets the results you want, and not even just girls, like money, status, all those results you want, then you should take his advice instead, and you should do the self-improvement instead. But yeah, see y'all later. Yeah, just try to do the best you can, man. Another thing I wanted to elaborate on, just like real quick, and I kind of mentioned it earlier in the video, is that, like, what do the red pillars get out of deceiving you if their advice really is bullshit and it doesn't work? I don't, like, what do they get? Like, a lot of, like, for instance, like, text game. Like, when they say stuff like, oh, keep the mystery, don't respond to the messages too fast, you know, all that stuff they say. What do they really get? Like, is this really their elaborate scheme to make you go and end up buy a fucking game course? I don't, like, it's not, bro. Like, they don't get anything out of it by, you know, you, like, if anything, it's worse for them. Like, if they give you bad advice, like, then you're not gonna go back to like, it's simple, like, you know, like, that's simple, economics, right? Like, if they're not actually, like, providing value to the market, then they're not gonna get more popular and stuff. So, like, really think about this. Like, what do they get out of you, out of saying nofap? Like, for instance, like, if nofap is really bullshit or whatever, what do they get out of telling you to do that? What do they get out of telling you to Mew or any of the other stuff that the blue pillars say doesn't work? They don't get anything out of it, bro. Like, the best argument I've ever heard is like, oh, they'll say this stuff to eventually go and, like, you buy their course or whatever. But I don't know, man. Like, I think, like, a lot of people don't buy the courses. Like, I don't know if there's, like, a course about nofap or, like, a course about, like, I don't know, man. Like, that, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, I don't think that you necessarily, like most of the people watching these videos are then eventually going and, like, buying the courses. I'd say a lot of them are just, like, using that advice, and then it works for them, and then they keep going back, and then it keeps getting popular. Like, I don't think a lot of them are, like, actually just buying, like, all their courses and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know, man. Just try out the advice first. Like, don't even buy. Here's what, promise me this. If it's something that doesn't take that much time, like nofap, like, will only take you 3 months or whatever to see the full benefits, just try it out first. and then don't buy the courses. That's my full advice for dealing with red pill channels. Don't buy any courses yet. Try their advice, see if it works, and if it doesn't, then I don't know. Just take the black pill at that point. I don't really know. But yeah, see you later.